A new bride investigates ghostly visions at a remote Gothic mansion that holds dark secrets. This week, we watched Crimson Peak.
Hello?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Hi. Welcome back.
This is our ASMR video.
Yeah. Is my voice soothing?
Is it soothing?
This
Canst
week,
thou hear me?
we watched a Gothic horror romance. Crimson Peak.
Yes, Crimson Peak. And it was pretty peak. No, I'm just kidding. Crimson Peak came out in 2015. It was directed by Guillermo del Toro. Those might know him from directing Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
He helped make a movie called The Orphanage, which is another horror movie that's really good.
I haven't seen that one.
Obviously, Hellboy.
Yeah,
1 and 2. I still have never seen the second one.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. All around. Oh, and he's doing the new version of Frankenstein currently.
Oh, and he had that Netflix show.
The Cabinet of Curiosities.
That was really good.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yes, great director. This movie is starring Jessica Chastain, Tom Hiddleston, Mia Wasikowska. I always do that name. Charlie Hunnam. Or Hunnam.
Charlie
Hunnam.
Human.
Right. Mia Wasikowska, obviously from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland live action
That was
ones,
a terrible movie.
which were not good.
No.
I feel like she was a good choice for Alice, but the movies just were not good.
Oh yeah, no.
Which was sad to me because as a kid, side note, I grew up watching Tim Burton, loved Tim Burton so much. He was one of my first influences of visuals because his visuals are amazing.
Oh yeah, me too. Edward Scissorhands was always one of my favorite movies.
I love Edward Scissorhands. Mine for him was Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Always. Beetlejuice and Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
Were the two. I love Edward Scissorhands.
I really love Edward Scissorhands. There's just something like, do you know, it falls in line with my love of camp though too. Because it's a very campy one.
It is, and if you hear any interview with anybody about that movie, nobody thought the script made sense. They all thought it was weird, and I'm like, but it worked so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did Alice in Wonderland, the live action. I'm pretty sure this was when he got stuck in some contract with Disney when he was stuck making movies for them. But
I dropped my pen caps.
It was sad for me because growing up with him, I actually wanted him to do a remake of that movie like so bad because I thought he would make it so cool, and then it just turned into a CGI mess.
Yeah.
And I know it's because of Disney.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you have state-of-the-art stuff, but maybe if somebody mainly uses practical effects, just let them do that.
I mean, haven't we learned from George Lucas using things just because you can? Like the prequels, Star Wars, horrible.
Well, see, he's also not even in charge of them anymore.
Well, he made the prequels, though.
Oh, the prequels of the movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Horrible. I can't even get through those. I understand that people really kind of like them. They've had like a cult following now in a way.
Yeah, they've kind of had a comeback, I think, because of Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he was so bad though in all of those, and he's a good actor, but he was terrible.
And I think it was literally because of George Lucas's direction for him.
The direction, the script.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not reviewing Star Wars right now.
This is not a science fiction. Unless it's science fiction horror. Just kidding.
True. Ooh. Yeah, we should watch Event Horizon, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I still need to see that. I mean, everybody probably knows Jessica Chastain at this point. I mean, she's been in a lot of movies.
Do you know what's hilarious? Is like, I have this thing with actors where you could say their name to me and I'm like, I don't know what they're in. I have no idea. I have to see their face, honestly. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, now
But you know her now.
Yeah.
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 Tom Hiddleston, of course, obviously been in the Marvel movies as Loki, and
Yes.
Many of other things. He's
Yeah.
very good British actor. And Charlie Hunnam, I believe, is also British in real life,
I don't know.
but he was best known for being in Sons of Anarchy, that motorcycle game
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually going to be Ed Gein in Ryan Murphy's new Monster series, which, if I can give my honest opinion, they
Let's
need to
not
stop giving him TV shows.
Let's not get started on that.
Yeah, that will be something I will go down that will probably get me a lot of hate, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Crimson Peak.
First off, I just want to say, aesthetically,
Amazing.
fucking beautiful. It is my aesthetic to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. I love it.
Well, the thing about Guillermo del Toro, and I could go on about him for a long time, is his practical effects. One, and
Yes.
that's true throughout everything he's done. I mean, even Pacific Rim, which was like crazy CGI,
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't like
they
that
had
one.
a lot of. It still had a lot of moments of practical effects that were really cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't do a lot of that stuff practically. Charlie Hunnam is in that too. For movies like this, he gets really into details, and that's one thing I know about him as a director is he's very detail oriented, down to everything. I mean, you can tell they built that set, with every detail in mind.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like even though you can see like, oh yeah, obviously we had to use like a soundstage to build this town square or do this thing. It's like every detail is there. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen his house, his like museum that he has.
Yes,
It's
I have.
crazy. It's so cool. It's cool, but those wax figures would freak me the fuck out at night.
Yeah, and I mean, I like tchotchkes and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little much for me, even, his house.
Oh my god.
It's a little
I
too
mean,
much
he's
for
got
me.
like
I'm
old Hollywood props that were like real. He's got the wax figures of Edgar Allan Poe and Boris Karloff and like all that stuff.
I mean, that's cool, but
It's a lot.
for a house,
Yeah.
for a museum, sure.
Yeah.
But for a
Which I
house,
think
then
he
it's a little
mainly
much.
uses that building as a museum.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Or his collection.
Huh.
But yeah, very maximalist.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his practical effects are insane. So in this, we do see-through ghosts. Like, they are see-through and you can see through them. But what's cool about that is it's still actually people in makeup. They just made them see-through in editing.
Yeah. Specifically,
Doug Jones.
who is in everything.
Yeah.
That he
Especially
makes.
everything Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
And honestly, it's just incredibly sexy to me for some reason. I don't know why.
Doug Jones, if you're listening.
I don't know what it is. Even when he's in makeup sometimes. I'm like,
he's fantastic, and like I should have actually named him as one of the starring people in this, but he's
truly.
he's fantastic because like the two people that I think do monsters the best, or just characters that are not human in general, are Andy Serkis and Doug Jones.
Yeah, that's true.
Two of the best, either with practical or motion capture. They're insane. They
Yeah.
just get so into the characters, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Doug Jones does play a couple of the ghosts in this one.
Yeah, he plays
Specifically
both
the Red Lady,
of them.
and I think maybe the Mother.
He does. He plays the mother too.
But for those who that have seen The Shape of Water, he is the creature in Shape of Water that she falls in love with.
He's the fawn in Pan's Labyrinth.
He's the fawn in Pan's Labyrinth. He's also
and
the
eyeless,
same
sightless
kind.
guy.
Yeah,
too.
he's the sightless guy in Pan's Labyrinth who has his hands in his eyes.
Yeah.
And he's also the same kind of creature from The Shape of Water in Hellboy.
Yes.
Plays that character as
He
well.
is that.
And fun fact, he's also in Hocus Pocus.
Yep.
As the guy who can't speak. I forget his name.
I forget. For some reason, I forget what his name is. That's funny.
And he came back for the second one too.
Billy. And then he's also in Star Trek Discovery.
Oh yeah,
Which
Star Trek.
is he's very good in that.
Honestly, genius actor.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's also done not so good movies. Like he was the Bye Bye Man in that movie, The Bye Bye Man, which was a terrible Blumhouse trash. But
He was in another version of Nosferatu as well.
Was he? Oh, was he in
Yeah.
the '70s one?
Yeah, well, no, not the 70s. He was in I think it's the 90s or something. He also played
He was in the SpongeBob
Nosferatu.
one. Just kidding.
He was in the SpongeBob. But yeah, he played Nosferatu as well.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Brilliant actor. And if you're listening, just know that you have all the praise in the world from us over here.
It's not.
You probably don't.
Speaking of Nosferatu, there's a Nosferatu reference in the beginning with the first ghost of the mother, where her hand comes.
Oh, the shadows.
The shadow of her hand.
The shadow of her hand
comes
and the
in,
clock. Yeah.
which was totally a Nosferatu reference. I know it was.
Just the aesthetics of that ghost in general, and how like the door opens, and
Gorgeous.
just the way he sets up stuff. Like the door opens and it's that perfect just view down the hallway with the grandfather clock or grandmother clock, whichever one it is, in the hallway, and then the ghost. It's so cool looking. I just the aesthetics and the coloring and the lighting, amazing.
Oh yeah, visually the whole thing, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like it is. Other than Dracula and Nosferatu, it is very much the definition of gothic horror.
This was pretty much. This could have been an actual Victorian Gothic horror novel.
It really.
It easily could have been, because I mean, it as I said when we were watching it, it reminds me of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah,
a bit
with ghosts.
yeah, it's like a supernatural. Well, Wuthering Heights has allusions to supernatural, because that was very popular at the time with the spiritualist movement and things like that.
That's why I love the way they did this,
too.
is because the time period it's set in obviously was the time period where the supernatural was a very hot topic.
Yeah.
Everybody was into it. Ouija boards, death pictures, seances, like everybody was into it. Obviously, I think Charlie's character in it, Dr. Allen, he shows her that you can fake these pictures.
Yes, which they did.
A lot back then.
Most of them were.
Yeah, they did a lot back then. He called it something exposure, but really, like nowadays, we use long exposure or things like that to do that type of thing. It's just crazy that even back then you can fake this stuff.
Yeah.
But it still looks really cool. And some of them could be real. Like
Possibly.
Allegedly. But yeah, I love that they really call into that, and I love like little references like she's like, I'd rather be Mary Shelley because she died a widow.
To novels of that same time.
Yeah.
It reminded me a bit of Wuthering Heights, because it is also about a woman kind of held hostage for her money. It's similar. There are some similarities.
That's good. I've actually never read Wuthering Heights.
It's a great book. Great book. Really good Kate Bush song too. He uses red and green a lot, like his color palette. Red, green, and blue, which is very similar to Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who also uses red, green, and blue.
He did Amelie, right?
He did Amelie.
I mean, even just the poster of that is very red, green.
The whole movie, that entire movie is red, green, and blue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I need to.
Beautiful.
I literally have seen 2 minutes of that movie. I need to actually watch that movie.
That's in my top 5. It's a gorgeous movie.
That's it. Like, I know a lot of people love that movie.
Love it.
I need to watch it still.
Of course, he used that same color palette in the Alien movie he directed, which is god-awful.
Resurrection.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Alien Resurrection was the worst one.
But I do notice that Guillermo del Toro does
minus the prequels
use that same kind of color palette sometimes. He's not as strict as Jean-Pierre Jeunet is with it, but he does use it.
And speaking of his color palette too, it's in all the scenes in America, he's got that sepia, warm sepia tone.
Yeah.
And then all the ones in England, it's just dark. It's like, it's very cold.
I think it's like a bluish
cold
color
white
filter.
and red.
Yeah.
And the white and red together look crazy. Like,
oh, it's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Like, I know it's like, it's blood, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love a person that still uses practical effects, and I will forever support directors still using practical effects.
Yeah.
And I know it takes more time, it's more money, it's whatever. Studios just love to fast track shit.
Yeah.
CGI over everything.
Yeah.
Which is what happened in the prequel of The Thing, and just completely gloss over stuff. But people who take the time to do practical effects, it's just better.
It just looks better.
It may look campy sometimes, it may look cheesy, it may not look overly realistic, but it just works better.
It works better.
My opinion.
Like The Substance.
Oh, The Substance had that in spades.
Yeah.
Substance was so good with that.
I mean, there were moments where it's like, obviously it's not real.
Yeah.
But it just looks so...
But it makes it look cool.
I love it. And it does obviously help the actors, too. act.
Oh yeah, because you're actually
you're
going off
reacting
of
to a
something.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking tennis ball on a stick. Like you're
Exactly.
actually like interacting with something that's like, or you're even breaking out of something that's like feels real, like prosthetics and stuff. And
Like the first time you see the mother ghost, the black ghost.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
it's so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And I love that even though they are see-through, you can tell it really is a person in a costume.
Yeah.
And it's just the makeup and the costuming is amazing.
Beautiful.
Like so cool.
Costuming. Don't get me started on
Okay.
costuming.
But yeah, I use The Things prequel as an example all the time because it was a newer director.
Mm-hmm.
And the writer of the movie actually came out and warned young filmmakers about how studios do shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they literally took the time to do what the original did and did practical effects for everything.
Mm-hmm.
They had prosthetics. There's videos of Mary Elizabeth Winstead being chased down the hallway by a stuntman in these huge prosthetics.
Yeah.
She, in interviews, was talking about how she got to flamethrower robots and stuff, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people got mad at her, were calling her a liar when the movie came out. Because what the studio did was they took it in post-production, fast-tracked it, CGI'd over everything.
Ew.
And I'm like, why not just keep it? They took the time to do it.
Yeah.
Just let them have the practical effects.
It's awful.
So the writer said, like, be careful to young filmmakers and new filmmakers because studios love to just fucking take advantage of you for money.
Yeah.
And it's true.
It's true.
A lot of them like to do that. But yeah, I always use it as an example. And of course, if you're a bigger director like Guillermo del Toro, you can kind of tell the studios to fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah. Costumes though. Sorry.
Oh, yes. Back to
I'm
costumes.
Obsessed with every costume in this movie. Just stunning, beautiful,
Again,
gorgeous.
the details in everything.
The first time I went to school was for costume design, and I desperately wish I had finished because I just am in awe of like costuming in movies. That's usually what I look at, and then obviously just fashion design in general. Love.
See,
but,
you get that, and I get the cinematography.
Yeah.
My big thing is cinematography.
But, like that amount of detail on costume.
Oh, it's
just,
crazy.
Oh, love it. And all of the puffy sleeves, all the puffy sleeves you could ever want in this movie.
Like a lot of those, like the men's outfits are really nice and cool, but obviously they look tight, kind of uncomfortable, whatever.
Oh, all the clothes look uncomfortable.
Yeah, but like whenever they're just wearing their like house clothes that are big billowy sleeves and stuff like that, I'm like, I feel like I could rock this and feel super comfortable in this.
Yeah, I love it. She's sleeping in this gigantic frilly
robe
thing. I don't even
it's
know
like
what
velvet
it is.
robe
with like huge puffed sleeves, which puffed sleeves. Interesting. I just learned about the history of puffed sleeves, which is I know that this podcast is turning into a very strange niche episode. But
maybe not if we had more listeners. Just kidding.
yeah, I know, right? They used to. They don't care. They used to cut. You know how you'll see like medieval paintings,
yes,
portraits, where they have like little slits all around and then things coming out like to puff the sleeve out.
Yeah.
It was so you could see the fabric under what they're wearing, because this fabric under what they're wearing is super expensive, and they wanted to show everybody
show it off.
how rich they are.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that became the puff sleeve thing, which like came back in the 19th century, Victorian era. Well, before that was.
Don't you love like puffy shoulders, puffy sleeves, and then it kind of goes away a little bit, but then even in like it's literally variations through time, because then you think about the 80s and you're like puff shoulders, like and elbow pads, like
well, the frillies are back because at Coachella, I guess all the girls were wearing what are they called? They're called like mini shorts or something. I can't remember.
Boy shorts?
No, there's these shorts that are if you ever see like that Oat and Freddie video where she's wearing like
with the little fabric
they look like
things.
bloomers.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, they're
cute.
They're super fucking cute. Yeah, those are in. So it's back.
It's back. It's coming back.
Anyway, back to the movie.
The movie itself has a slower pace to it, which is good, but it's funny to me because the speaking and talking in scenes feel quick.
Yeah, it didn't feel slow paced to me.
Like I don't when I don't mean long. I just mean like it has a build up to it.
It does.
something probably reminiscent of that time and everything, like build up, whatever. But like the speaking felt very fast. Like they would talk to each other and scenes would end, and it would just be like,
well, it was like an old movie.
Yeah.
They even use that
yes.
cutaway with the
cutaway that goes into a circle, and fades to black.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love it so much, and
nobody uses it. Nobody uses.
Well, yeah, no one uses it anymore.
Can you imagine a modern horror movie like The Ring doing the slow
great.
into a hole in the well and then it goes to black?
That would be great.
Yeah, I love that they draw attention to the obsession with the supernatural. I'm even her as a writer, and everybody's like, "You're writing about ghosts," and she's like, "Well, it's a metaphor for the past." And they're like, "This needs a love story, though."
that was like frivolous.
Yeah,
it was women's literature. You know, like it's the ghosts and a love affair, and it was like dime novel, that was the time. It was like the Danielle Steele novels of the day, where we were just
we all wanted a romance and a love story.
Exactly.
Which is weird because I think not too long before that it was like a 19-year-old Mary Shelley creating Frankenstein, which was scientifically insane.
Yeah. For
a 19-year-old to create that entirety of like a story novel and all that, that's crazy. Like, yeah. I mean, cool, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But crazy.
Yeah. And
I always forget that she's just like 19 years old when she writes that book.
Well, that's why Wuthering Heights got a lot of Emily Bronte. Got a lot
Emily Bronte
crap for that novel, just because it was like considered pretty less than, because she included an allusion to supernatural stuff in it, but it wasn't. Like there was. It
was like a metaphor kind of situation.
Yeah, it was totally metaphorical, exactly the same kind of deal, except that it was also horrific, the book. So people thought it was a little too violent that a woman would write that, but.
I mean, so in the story right now, we have the daughter of, I think her father runs an oil mining company.
Mining. I think it's mining.
Mining.
In Boston.
And Tom Hiddleston is there as a baron, if he actually is a baronet.
A baronet.
A baronet.
Yes. Which even the dad had to look up what it was. Which is funny.
To possibly get his business to help pay for him mining. Because where he lives, it makes the reddest clay.
It had some kind of property
bricks.
for bricks.
For bricks.
Yeah. And he built a super steampunk mechanism
model.
To get it out. To mine the clay.
You kind of find out that something's kind of shady about Tom Hiddleston's character in the beginning. And then Edith, Mia Wasikowska, she ends up falling in love with him.
Yeah, they do a candle dance.
Because he's showing how to correctly do a waltz, and if you're correctly doing a waltz, the candle you're holding in your hand should never go out.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
I still wonder how many times they had to film it where the candle did go out.
I know. That's where the CGI came in.
Just for the candle. So in a whole conspiracy thing, the father finds out a bunch of stuff, and eventually is killed.
Yes, because he knew too much.
That death scene's intense.
That was a little much. That's the only part of the movie that I was just a little. Yeah, I didn't love that.
Because of his use of practical effects, Guillermo del Toro kind of goes out with those too, all out with those.
Yeah.
And so we get the dad getting his face smashed into a sink 3 or 4 times.
It was a little too real for me. I didn't like it.
Oh god, but then the hole in his face caved in and stuff.
Like it.
It just reminded me of, because he's done it in other movies. Pan's Labyrinthine one where a guy gets his face beat in with a beer bottle and it like crushes his bones and stuff, and it's like practical effects, so it kind of feels like it's really happening. I mean, granted, they look really good.
It looked way too good.
In my opinion. Because it's kind of just fucked up. But yeah, dad ends up dying, and because she was the only daughter of this single father because her mom died. She ends up getting married off to the baronet and taken to England to live at their house.
Yeah.
Which is currently sinking into the ground because of it being on top of a mine.
There's no roof.
Oh yeah, and the roof had a huge hole in
it. I can't imagine walking in there. They're like, hey, there's no roof here.
There's leaves falling through the roof.
Do you want to? I'm gonna go back.
The house is so cool. But yeah, if you were in that situation, you're like, wow, this is a really beautiful house, but I can tell that this thing has not been cared for and it's falling apart. Maybe we shouldn't live here.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, because of the mine, as he pushes on the floorboards and all that red, the red clay gushes out
like
and
blood.
stuff, and one of them is just dripping down the walls. He's like, because it's built on a mine, the house is sinking into the mine.
That's great.
And God, you know, like they never do it, which is fine. But you know how cool it would have been if the movie ended with the house just sinking into the mine.
That would have been a bit.
It would have been a little.
for me.
It would have been a little too poltergeist.
Yeah, that
for
was
me.
a bit too poltergeist. I don't know.
Poetically in my head, I'm like,
Yeah. I think if it would have, years later, it's just like, completely sunk in or something.
Yeah.
They have like a
like if they
future,
went back years later and it's like half the
yeah.
house is in the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, insanely cool house. The detail on the house,
Yeah.
so well done.
On the moors.
On the moors, yeah.
Which
they're
Wuthering
literally
Heights is also on the moors. Yeah.
It's literally the only house for miles.
Yeah. Just like Wuthering
Just
Sorry.
like Wuthering Heights.
I keep going back to that. But
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Same time period, kind of the same vibe.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Over the winding, windy moors. Kate Bush.
Oh my god. Oh, didn't she take that from Wuthering Heights, right?
Huh?
Didn't Kate Bush take that from Wuthering Heights?
Well, she has a song called Wuthering Heights.
That's
and
right.
It's about Wuthering
it's
Heights.
It's called Wuthering Heights.
Heathcliff, it's me, Kathy. Let me in. It's so cold.
Oh, that's where Heathcliff is from. Okay.
Heathcliff.
I
yes.
haven't. Yeah.
He's a monster. Anyway.
But yeah, I just wrote down set design because the set design is incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of the house they actually built for the set and how they. Because sometimes when you go inside a room, it's actually a different set than what this room is in, and things like
totally,
that.
Yeah.
So I don't know
the
how much.
Atrium, though, I feel was.
Oh, that was built.
Yeah, built.
Like
yeah.
I don't know if the full top
Not
of the house
roof.
was built.
No, that wasn't.
The roof, but they at least built enough of that to make it seem fully real.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to go back to when the dad was killed, but it was a little before that because.
Oh yes.
He. Just like in Pan's Labyrinth, he was using a straight razor, and I hate those fucking things. They scare the shit out of me.
I've only ever gotten a straight razor shave once,
Me
and
too.
it was
Me too.
really nice.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
With like the warm towel and everything.
But it's terrifying.
Oh yeah, watching him do it though, I'm like no.
No. It's
Because I know if I
terrifying.
did it myself, I'd kill myself
Oh,
on
yeah,
accident.
Absolutely. And I was just thinking of like Sweeney Todd the whole time.
Oh,
too.
God.
Anyway.
That's the worst movie to fall in love with straight razors.
Right?
Also Tim Burton.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, this is not Tim Burton though.
No,
So
I just went from conversation earlier.
I know.
But yeah, with the amount of times I've accidentally slid an actual like shaving razor sideways on my face and cut myself.
Ugh. Jesus Christ.
I know that I would not be able to use a straight razor accurately
No.
whatsoever.
No. You it's like you just start and then like cut to like just cut your neck just dead on the floor.
Cut to like Royal Tenenbaums when he slits his wrist, and you're like, "How did he even cut his wrist?" And we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, they do it in I think it's Skyfall. Moneypenny ends up shaving James Bond's face, and he's like, "Are you any good with it or whatever?" And it's like the way you're supposed to practice is putting shaving cream on a balloon.
Oh yeah.
And you do that, and so if you don't pop the balloon, then you're good.
Yeah.
Doing it, yeah. The whole thing. But yeah, they freak me out.
I'm also not surprised that houses burn down all the time. I wrote this note down because of when they're having dinner and there's like 5 billion candles around.
Oh my god.
And you think about that and you're like, God, if people wanted to do anything at night, like a dinner party, there would have to be like 50 candles in the room.
Well, I thought
no
that...
wonder things burn down all the damn time.
Seriously, I thought the same thing about Nosferatu, especially when it's like Christmas time and you see the tree just covered in actual candles.
Candles on an actual tree.
Yeah, you're like...
I love it. I love it. What a great idea.
I don't know if the fire marshal would approve. Because then the father is deaf after the straight razor.
Oh, the father's deaf.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I thought you said the father is deaf. I'm like, what?
The father cannot hear.
That's the twist.
That's the twist. No, because like he gets his face smashed into the sink, which is intense.
It is very intense.
You think the whole time because he's using a straight razor that somebody would have slit his throat with a straight razor.
Yeah.
normally when you
that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, normally when you draw attention to something, that's usually what happens.
Exactly.
So it's refreshing when it doesn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. The Chekhov's gun was not fired.
No. Yeah. I don't know if anybody doesn't know what the Chekhov gun is.
Look it up.
Look it up. Anton Chekhov. The basics are that if you show a gun in the first act, it must be fired by the third.
Yeah, basically foreshadowing something.
Foreshadowing.
Do something with it.
Do something with it. Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you filming it? But in this case, it was a twist. So I like.
Well, it's just funny because tangent on that. It's just funny because in that show Archer.
Yeah.
He calls his gun the Chekhov gun.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in Shaun of the Dead, it's literally the rifle above the bar. It's just the gun that they show that they're like, it can't be fired. No, it's deactivated. And then they fire it in the third act and it actually works. So I love when they have literal interpretations of it because it just makes it funny.
Totally. So anyway, she goes to live in England, leaves everything behind because her father is dead and she has nowhere to go. So she decides to live with this fuck boy in London, which, I mean, it's transparent. I guess maybe she was a very naive Elizabethan girl. And is this Elizabethan or Georgian?
Georgian?
It's not. No,
it's not Victorian.
It's not Victorian. That's later.
Oh, because it's the early 19th century, right?
Oh, it's the early 19th? I guess it is.
It is the early 19th century.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that's Georgian. Anyway, why? What is this podcast?
People
about?
Always say things that are.
What
Victorian
is this podcast about?
I don't know.
No, people actually do default to Victorian.
They always default
even
to
though
Victorian.
there are differences for sure.
But to me, you'd have to be naive not to think something was going on. But I guess he is kind of convincing in the fact that he sends her a letter your dad told me to do this. I didn't want to do this.
Yeah, that's true.
He kind of convinces her that it's the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one person she would really have to be naive about to me is his sister.
Yeah.
Who, right off the bat, is already creepy.
Oh no, she's great. She's absolutely. Oh my god. Oh.
The poison in the tea.
I did just serve some tea before we started. They are slowly poisoning her with tea.
They are, yeah, that is the plot point.
That is a big plot point of this movie.
And apparently it's mainly the sister.
Well, it was him. He was doing it.
I feel like
but he was never in love with any of them until this girl.
No, but I feel like even when he wasn't in love with them, I feel like she's always been in control of that situation.
Well, yeah, and she's the one that killed their mother as well.
Yeah,
with a big ass meat
huge cleaver.
Damn.
In the bathtub.
Right in the head. In the bathtub.
Because the mom said something to her that she deemed hateful. It was something like that.
Oh, she said, "You're a monster."
She called them monsters.
Funny, that was my mother's last word.
Yeah.
You're a monster.
And then she hacks her with a cleaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, you would have to be naive not to think that she's weird already.
Yeah.
And, Jessica Chastain plays that character very well.
Very well.
Because you get the hint that she's creepy or something's wrong, but she still has that build up until she goes full psycho.
Yeah.
And the ending of her going full psycho, amazing.
Oh yeah, really good.
That chase scene,
really good. I love the chase scene. I love when she gets into the elevator and she's trying to open the door and she's hacking away at her fingers,
but she doesn't let it go.
And she doesn't let it go.
It's she can't feel it.
Yeah.
God.
She's so full of rage, psycho rage, that she can't feel
anything.
Love it.
But yeah, there's certain moments in this movie, when she ends up stabbing Tom Hiddleston in the face with a knife and you see him have to pull it out of his face.
Yeah.
And certain things like that where I'm like, ugh.
That was less bothersome than the kitchen or the bathroom sink thing to me.
Bathroom sink thing.
The father.
Oh, the father.
That was far less, yeah.
Yeah, it's just you feel because it's practical effects and stuff, you feel you can feel it.
Yeah, totally.
And when it's like that, I'm like, ugh. Because I feel whenever they're getting in a fight and she grabs the blade of the knife and slides her hand across it, I'm like,
hate
oh,
when they do
God.
that in movies. I hate it so much.
Someone
grabs the other end of a knife.
Oh, my God. It was crazy. I felt like I could feel it slicing my fingers.
Yes. I do want to sleep in that giant puffy thing. I really like that thing.
I mean, those I know they might not be the cleanest because of I don't know how often they launder shit.
That's true.
But the beds are still they look so comfortable.
Extravagant,
poofy.
Yeah.
which, you find out years later that firmness is better for your back.
Yeah.
But you wonder how much those
They
actually
died when they were 30 anyway.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
true.
matter. Before they start breaking down anyway.
the life expectancy back then.
Exactly.
Especially if you get thrown off a balcony or stabbed in the face. Or have to deal with a psycho sister.
She does find out about the plots and there are past plots because of finding gramophone tubes, cylinders.
She finds gramophone tube. Well, and what's cool about that, so before any of that happens, we start seeing the red ghost.
Yes.
Which you find out later is their mother.
Yes.
And she's really creepy. She's like coming for her. She's like whatever. But then you realize as time goes on, she's trying to warn her about what happens there. Because before she finds the gramophone cylinders, she hears something in the closet next to her, and the dog's barking, and she opens it, and then we see that face and that noise, and then it shuts the door super fast.
Yeah.
And then she opens it, and she finds them. So it's like really the spirit pointing out, like, these are the things.
Yeah.
Look at these things.
Yeah.
Listen to these. You'll know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I like it when they kind of have, like, the ghost can't really tell her what's going on, but it's at least trying to, like, warn about what's happening. I mean, the mother could speak when she says, "Beware, Crimson Peak."
Yeah.
When the time
Instead
comes,
of just being like, "Hey,
Hey,
don't
so
do this."
There's this baronet.
I know, right? I love it.
He's gonna be kind of charming, annoyingly British. Just don't do it.
Right? Always has to be so cryptic.
Yeah. Always has to be cryptic from beyond the grave.
Right?
I never got... One of them is probably another wife. Because the mom is the red ghost with the full face.
Yes.
But then we see that other red ghost that has their face caved in.
Yes.
And I'm like, is that her father? Or is that another one of the
I feel like it was possibly her father because it was... because the face was caved in, and it was like bulkier. It wasn't like a feminine, shade. Yeah,
feminine figure.
Yeah. So I think that might have been her father.
It might have been her father.
That came up out of the goopy mud.
Yeah. And I like all the little ones you see, like, oh, she's walking through the attic, and then she passes by a wheelchair, and then all of a sudden the wheelchair, there's a white ghost, and it's pointing to one of the things.
Which actually, that is called a bath chair.
Oh.
Yeah.
The old wheelchair?
Yeah, the ones that look like an actual chair that they strapped wheels to. It's called a bath chair.
A bath chair.
Yes.
Fancy.
Yes.
Yes.
I only know this because I was reading a Agatha Christie novel, and they kept saying bath chair, and I was like, what the fuck is a bath chair? So I had to look it up. Yeah.
We love Agatha Christie.
I love Agatha Christie. I've read so many Agatha Christie books.
See, I've never read any of her books, but the movies are good.
There's some really good ones. There's some really good... Evil Under the Sun, because a lot of the movies had, like the older ones, the 70s ones, have like Maggie Smith and Diana Rigg and like just all these like great British actors.
What's her name? Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury is in one of them. Elizabeth Taylor is in one. I mean, just all of these.
Angela Lansbury's in Death on the Nile, isn't she?
Yes, she is in Death on the Nile, along with Maggie Smith and some other people.
Amazing.
Just amazing. Yeah. The
level of British
like,
actors.
diva actresses.
The diva actresses of the time.
Yep. Anyway, do you know what I liked about the house? Which, I mean, this is an obvious like thing they were trying to allude to, is like it was breathing because of the vacuum of the wind, and it was like the house breathes.
It was like, he said it's the eastern wind, and it sets off the different chimneys they have, and so the house breathes.
Yeah, it's like the house is breathing, and then the house is bleeding with the red, then they go down to the basement, and it looks like the entrails of the house. You know, it's like the house is alive. Yeah. And I think that's...
Monster House. I'm just kidding.
Monster House.
I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but that's a good one.
I haven't. But it's like the entire house is alive, and I think that's really cool. I like that.
In a way, you could say the house itself is a character. I'm just kidding.
Shut up.
No, but I do love that, too, where it's very much like, when you go into the basement, it's like, this is the inside.
Yeah.
This is where the heart's beating. This is the inside of the house.
Oh, no, totally.
And then the upper, it's breathing. Mm-hmm. And it's slowly dying.
Yeah.
It's like it's being poisoned,
Yeah.
and falling apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, she finds the gramophones. She ends up finding the gramophone player.
Mhm.
Is able to listen to them along with envelopes that have the different locations of where he killed these women.
Yeah, and pictures of them.
And pictures of
you know,
them.
that kind of stuff.
And a couple of them sound kind of normal, and then you get to the one where she's like, they're killing me. They're poisoning me.
Yeah.
I can hear them coming. Just know that they're killing me. And it's in the tea.
Yeah.
The tea. Because the entire movie, she keeps serving her tea for everything.
Yeah.
And you don't realize until that thing that really the poison's in the tea.
Well, I realized that before they.
Well, yeah, but like
it was kind of obvious.
it's supposed to be like a little bit of a reveal, but you kind of get what's going on.
I read enough
yeah.
things like that to know the tea's poisoned.
Yeah, and in our community, the gay community, the tea is always poisoned.
That is true. That is true.
The tea is always bitter.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating.
It's not always hot, though. It's not always scalding hot.
I don't know.
Sometimes it's cold.
Sometimes it's,
boring ass.
Boring, cold tea.
I really liked when she opens the. Was it him or I think it was someone opened the door, and then a bunch of snow came in, like just like
it's
all
her.
The wind. Yeah,
she
I loved that.
It was when she
awesome.
realized she's being poisoned and she starts coughing up blood.
Yes,
and I feel like she thinks she can get out.
Yeah.
And she opens the doors and it's just snow and a blizzard coming in, and it just looks so cool because she's dressed in white, and then it's like this white,
it's beautiful.
Like it's just,
yeah,
it's just the visuals of this movie are incredible.
Absolutely.
It's hard to beat people like Guillermo del Toro when it comes to visuals.
That's true. That is very true, actually.
And it's like, because a lot of people have really good cinematography. Like you see Christopher Nolan movies, and it's, very beautifully shot, things like that.
What did he do?
Inception and...
I don't remember names. I was just talking about this. I don't remember names.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
Inception's the Dark Knight trilogy with Batman.
Okay.
A lot of movies.
Okay, I'll look it up.
The Prestige, Memento, like...
Oh, okay.
Prestige is one of my favorite movies. But
it's pretty good, yeah.
He's really good at what he does because he also loves doing practical effects, and he only likes to do film. He only likes to film on actual film, which is
we just watched,
the studio.
The studio episode.
But he's really into practical effects too. I mean, in fact, like when he did Oppenheimer, like he made sure to be able to make the explosion real and look real.
So
it was not. He set off a nuclear bomb.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't CGI. They like actually like created a mini version of the explosion so they could show it. Which is he does not like doing CGI. It's really good.
It just seems too damn long, and
it is really long.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I just feel like with Guillermo del Toro, he goes to that extra mile with the way he makes, especially movies in this time period.
Uh-huh.
I mean, even in Hellboy, when it's like that weird time period of stuff, it's just...
It's indeterminate.
Yeah,
most of his movies have like an indeterminate time period, except for Pan's Labyrinth, which was obviously,
Yeah, but like even that, it's just the detail and the visuals, and he's not afraid for things to look somewhat campy or cheesy, so he's able to push it that extra
but somehow
mile.
It doesn't look campy ever.
I feel like his visuals just have more of a push to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's really the details. He goes the extra miles with the details.
Yeah.
And it just makes movies like this better because, I mean, you're the actual actor interacting with this actual house, and you're able to move around the house, see what it looks like, interact with the things around it, and be in that space.
And you were actually like playing off of Doug Jones and crazy makeup and body makeup, and like coming at you,
It's so cool. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'd be freaked out seeing him in that costume. Like,
absolutely.
Like that. Like,
he's
so
tall. He's so tall and gangly.
Yeah. It'd be really easy to act off of because he's so good at what he does.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like it pushes that extra mile. And I'm not saying that like, movies that use a lot of CGI are all bad.
No.
Like I guess a newer a newer example of that people liked would be Wicked.
Oh yeah.
Because at least
you're like some people like.
Some people. Well, it's funny because I actually liked it, and I'm not a musical person.
Me neither, and I actually liked it. Yeah.
But
I liked it got like a strong anti-fascist stance.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even though it's, capitalist as hell, but like nonetheless.
But when you watch the behind the scenes, like, it is Cynthia acting in front of all of these green screens.
Yeah.
But you still get her on a broom practically flying through this space.
Yeah.
So they at least add that in, and it's cool. So it's still her interacting with something.
Yeah.
I just feel like when you have an actual set like this and are able to fully interact with everything, it just makes it that much better.
Totally.
And I know sometimes it's like impossible to do with the ideas people have in creating. Like,
Yeah.
kind of hard to practically do a bunch of the Marvel movie stuff.
Yeah.
But
Although they do have at least that immersive soundstage thing now.
oh yeah,
Yeah, which helps a little bit.
it does help.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Mandalorian, they like, instead of using green screens, they use like panels with a bunch of like LED lights on them with the different lighting of where he's going, so you can see the light changing with where it's really cool.
It's like this fully immersive
experience.
It's not fully 365, but it's like
No.
it's like a half. It's more than a semicircle.
Yeah.
It's a little, yeah.
It makes it that much better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of the details. I know I keep going on about it, but he's just really good about practically doing things.
I really liked the fact that the sister also kept trophies like a serial killer.
Oh my
The
god,
hair.
when she like cuts her hair off, puts it in things, she has all the women's
Braids
hair,
it and like
puts it in the thing, sits there and braids it for her. Like, that's
It's great. You just see like how much of a psychopath she is.
she's full psycho.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that apparently they were having a sexual relationship.
Well, yeah, they were married,
The brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which reminded me of a Tennessee Williams play.
Oh, good.
No, it totally did. It was like it's called the Two Character Play. I've seen it live once. It was really good, but it's about a brother and sister who live together, and they're very weird and insular and like almost incestuous. It's a weird,
Like they're just too
play.
close because they only live with each other.
It's a very strange play, but it like kind of has that same.
Yeah.
That dynamic is unsettling enough that it's used a lot in different things.
Well, they keep talking about Enola,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "I saw her. You killed her child because she has like a baby with her."
Well, yeah, they killed one with a baby.
And then she actually says like, "No, it was never hers. It was actually my child, and it was born wrong."
Oh.
Is what she says up there. So they actually had a child together.
Oh.
And it was
okay.
born. She says, "quote born wrong."
I missed that. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
incest.
Yeah.
So,
So it either died itself or she ended up killing it because it was, quote, again, born wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which could mean many different things. Yeah, I don't mind that storyline just because it kind of makes sense,
Oh no, totally.
especially with how she is.
Yeah.
Because she's very controlling.
Yeah.
Does not like being alone.
Mhm.
Does not ever want him to leave her alone.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's because if she were ever to be left alone, she would go crazy.
Yeah.
He's like the only one actually holding her in reality.
Yeah.
A little bit, even if it is a really messed up reality.
Yeah. I do like when Lucille and God, what is the main character? Edith. Edith and Lucille are fighting at the end, and then they go out into from the basement, which is all red, out into the snow.
Oh,
So
you
it's like
using
this-
using the mine?
Yeah, walking out of
mechanism.
that, and then it's all like snow, and she's in white. Edith is in white. Lucille is covered in blood.
And she's in. Oh, she has a darker color on her, but she's also kind of in white.
But it's like it's kind of like this Snow White, rose red thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
And I love the scenery of like, this huge white, like whiteout, almost blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing white, but she also has blood on her, and it's just like red on the ground because of the clay, and it's just this white and red
Yeah,
mixed
really
together
cool.
is so cool looking.
Yeah.
And then we do see Tom Hiddleston's ghost at the end of the movie, and he looks so good. The makeup
Yeah,
and everything just looks fantastic.
and then Edith smacks Lucille in the head with a shovel.
Oh yeah, you know what that reminded me of? Because she like hits her on the head down and kills her with it.
Uh-huh.
It just reminded me of Death Becomes Her.
It was exactly like Death Becomes
When
Her
she when Meryl
smacks her in the
Streep.
head
Oh no,
with
it
the
was
shovel.
Goldie Hawn smacks Meryl Streep with the shovel over the head. Yeah. It's totally that.
That was funny.
It's really funny to me. And so what's cool about this is the very beginning of the movie, we actually see the scene in the very beginning of the movie, and it's her just standing there with cut open and like her with her hand or whatever, and she says, ghosts are real, this much I know. Yeah. And that's where the movie starts.
Yeah.
And then goes in, back in time to whenever it
was
a thing. And then at the very end of this fight, it zooms on her again. It's the same shot, and it says, "Ghosts are real. Mm-hmm. This much I know." It was that bookend of full circle moment.
Yeah,
which is really good.
One more thing about the fight, though. Lucille was like moving supernaturally.
Oh,
like a.
Her clothes just made her look.
Well, no, when she ran from one side to the other, it was like a horror monster, like going behind her,
It's so crazy. It's just because the one shot of that I love of her chasing her when she's going down the elevator is her running down the staircase with that huge billowing cape and sleeves.
I would have tripped on that.
100%.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times she practiced that just so she did. But she's got a knife in her hand. She's going crazy. And she's running down these stairs with these clothes just going everywhere, and it just looks so cool. It's kind of like the evil queen in Snow White coming down the stairs with that huge cape.
Yeah.
Best cape action in a movie, by the way. But it reminds me of that, but it just looks so cool visually whenever you pan over to see the house as a whole and her just running down the stairs in frantic panic.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And of course we get the reveal of that she kept the cleaver she killed her mom with.
Yeah.
Which obviously only a psychopath would do.
Well,
yeah. She's like, before they took me away, I kept a souvenir from mother. For mother. I was like, all right, Norman Bates.
So she has her ghost husband, her little ghost boyfriend at the end. Then he disappears.
Which we all want, just a ghost boyfriend,
right?
Who could be with us anywhere we want. Nobody can see him.
Yeah.
Only I can see him, and he can mess with people for me.
George Glass. His name is George.
His name is George Glass. I don't know anybody named by the name of George Glass who goes to our school.
It goes to our school.
When people write that out in subtitles and it's SKU with the dots on top, LE school. Sorry, Brady Bunch tangent.
What a crazy winter vacation.
I know, she has so much to tell at school the next day.
Imogen, you would not believe. Oh,
her dear friend Rose, when she gets back from being on the Titanic, will have all of this to hear.
So much tea.
So much tea. Oh my god. I love, it is like romantic gothic horror.
Yeah.
But then it also adds in murder mystery.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just does all that really well. Because it's it is a romance, but it's not like so cheesy of a romance that I'm sitting there like, ugh.
No.
And it's gothic horror. It's not like jump scare horror. It's like Nosferatu horror. Yeah, it's very just like, this is dark. It's build up. It's creepy. It's something's wrong, but I can't really tell, and all this stuff.
But it goes a step beyond that to be a little gory.
Yes.
It goes a little some tension.
Yeah.
It goes a little step beyond being gothic horror, which I think is really cool.
I love that aesthetic.
And there's a lot of symbolism, which we didn't talk about the moths, obvesly.
Yes, I actually, because I made a note about that. Because on the way, it's Lucille's room.
Yeah.
She has a room up in the attic.
Yeah, like you do.
I think she says in the movie that when she's playing the piano, she's like, we were never allowed in this room. We were never allowed out of the nursery, which was the attic.
In the attic.
But when you go up there, it's covered in moths.
Yeah.
Black moths, whatever he called them, I can't remember.
I was trying to look up what particular species they were trying to portray, and I couldn't find anything. I was wondering if they were death head moths or something. That was very symbolic of that. Yeah. But
because the meaning of moths like that is death usually.
In this particular context of this time period, it's
death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then butterflies symbolize life.
Yeah.
And when all the butterflies are dead, and she throws that one into the ant pile at the beginning.
Yeah.
She's
foreshadowing.
Deaf, and she's exactly.
Yeah, she's and I like that she's normally dressed in black.
Yeah. Dark
Edith
colors.
is mostly dressed in white
It's
and bright
earth
colors,
tones.
so it's very much life, death, or death victim situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the butterfly being a metaphor where it's like, oh, they're dying because of whatever, and they're just slowly dying, and then the butterfly is seen slowly getting eaten by ants, and it's like being poisoned.
And the first time we
dying.
see Lucille, she's in that red dress.
Oh yes,
Gorgeous red
Gorgeous
dress.
red
but
dress.
it's like just all blood, crimson.
Crimson red.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Crimson Peak.
Yeah. They even say the name of the movie in the movie.
They do, because like we know that it's most likely the nickname, but then she finds out that the nickname that it's been given is Crimson Peak, which her mother's ghost when she was younger had been like, beware of Crimson Peak. Do not come to this place.
And then she puts it together. What? So yeah. She's a little dullard, a little bit. It's okay.
It's okay to be a little naive in the early 19th century.
That time.
It was a time of supernatural, a time of,
I would say that she wasn't that well educated, but she was because she was writing a novel.
Her dad was rich. So
her dad was rich, so she probably was.
And yeah, she was writing a novel.
Yeah.
Like.
Anyway.
But God, because that scene in the beginning when she's like showing the guy the novel, and I'm sitting there like, God, can you imagine showing somebody a novel at that time period, and you have to sit there while they read the entire thing,
right?
And I don't know if it is the entire thing or if it's like, oh, I gave you like half of it, or like this is the story of it, and they judge it from that. But can you imagine? You wrote like a 100-page novel, and they're sitting there reading it, and you have to sit there in their office while they're reading this novel because like they can't just judge it based off of like a pitch or something like. Yeah. I was like, he's like, and I love the fact that it's not even really story elements that hits him. It's like kind of story elements, but otherwise he's like, you have really good penmanship, really good loops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so if your penmanship wasn't great, but you had an amazing story, it just would not, would not be a thing.
Well, I think that was alluding to the fact that it was feminine handwriting.
Yeah, which she says later she wants to type it out because they're like, she says her feminine handwriting gives her away. Yeah. Which makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Good workaround.
Women being writers at the time were not taken seriously.
Not taken seriously. I feel like women doing art or anything in general
according
back then,
to them, it was trash novels. Yeah.
I feel like women doing anything back then they were not taken seriously.
Well, yeah, no.
Which you see always in movies the difference between the person who doesn't want to accept that and still wants to push forward and actually do something, and the women who are like, I'm not gonna fight it. This is just who I am. Like whatever. Like they just don't give a shit. Like, yeah. It's always like it's like the rich bitches that make fun of her, and then her who's like actually trying to do something, and them who's like we're just here.
Yeah. Yeah.
They always like kind of do that a little bit, but yeah.
If you want to look further into things of that nature,
yeah,
I would definitely tell you to read or listen to Alok speak. They are a gender non-conforming person who is kind of doing stand-up comedy now too.
Oh, that's cool.
But wrote a couple books, one or two books. I don't even know how many. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. But on gender and the colonialist idea of gender and how it was in order to make white people more superior, they delineated gender as far as it could go.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why like women and men of that time period, women were delicate flowers who wore all of this gigantic, ridiculous shit, and men wore, practical suits.
I mean, it makes sense. Just, I mean, a lot of that stuff, race, gender, whatever, was all used to just separate people out like crazy.
Yeah. It's a very
mainly so white people could feel superior.
Yeah, it's a very deep subject, and it's really interesting. So,
and this is coming from two white people who do not feel superior.
No. So check out Alok. It's Alok. I can't remember their last name. Alok Memnon, something like that. Anyway, yeah, check it out.
And also, get caught up on our other episodes 1 through 20. They're on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, watch Mads.
Yeah, please watch the one we did on Mads. It's a very good movie.
I'd like to have one view.
It was like it was a very good movie. We do get into it and we talk about it.
I think a lot of people haven't seen it yet. Yes. I think that's the problem.
It is on Shudder, but that was our last video.
Crimson Peak is on Shudder too.
Crimson Peak also on Shudder, which is cool because they're getting bigger movies and stuff, which is awesome. For Crimson Peak, I would like to give it a probably 4 to 5 dead wives.
I am giving it 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I am.
5
5 out of 5 meat cleavers.
Just so people know, Chris is the more critical out of the two of us.
Yep. I think it
just means a lot.
It really, really, I just connect with like the gothic horror stuff, and it's just everything that's in my wheelhouse and genre. Like I just love.
Yeah.
Plus, like the sort of murder mystery, the mystery of it.
Yeah.
I just everything about it, and visually, and that's super important to me too. Is like just the visuals and the costumes and the detail.
I will say, even if a movie's storyline is a little bad or if the acting is a little bad, visuals can save a movie so hard.
But this one didn't even need it because the acting was good.
No, yeah.
The script is like everything about it to me was good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a great score on IMDb or.
Well, it's funny too because when this movie first came out, people just panned the shit out of it.
It's just so weird to me.
Because I back in because it was 2015.
Oh.
And
they wanted.
They wanted actual. Whenever people go see horror movies, they want like actual horror. What that means is like jump scares, people getting murdered.
Because at that time there was a lot of that. Yeah.
So when
this was out of place a little bit.
When you go off of that track a little bit and make something like this, where it's like it's gothic horror, it's slow burn horror, it's just like
it's art.
It's art,
and that's what Guillermo del Toro makes is art. Really.
And it's like
most of them.
I remember
art. I wouldn't consider like Hellboy art, but it is a really good movie.
I remember seeing it in theaters like years ago when it first came out, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I remember loving it.
I was told,
and I just remember everybody around me being like,
before, and I hated it. So, but I don't believe that because I didn't remember 1 second of this. I was told I've seen it, but I had not seen it.
Gaslighting? I'm just kidding.
I think so.
But I do remember loving it, but I do remember everybody around me just like hating it or like finding a bunch of stuff that was wrong with it or things like that. And I was like, no, because it's just not. And I think at the time I didn't know how to put it into words. I mean, I was younger, but it's just like horror is not always going to be jump scares, murder, and whatever. No. Horror means very different things.
Yeah.
And this is supernatural horror, but it's gothic horror, but it doesn't rely on jump scares. It doesn't do that stuff. But it's like Hereditary is a different kind of horror. Midsummer, even the same director, different kind of horror.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
And then you have movies like Evil Dead, which are like, campy, crazy horror. Then
Fun. I love those.
Yeah. But yeah, you have different kinds of things within this genre, and that's why I think horror getting panned a lot sucks, is because you have so many subgenres within just this one genre that you can explore and mess with. And a lot of it is, like, oh, this is just a slasher movie, paranormal movie things, but it's like you have a lot of room to mess with it. And so many people are afraid of so many different things, so it's really like easy to just go into whatever you want.
Yeah. I just think he so perfectly took that, like a very old-timey sort of gothic horror subject and made it just modern and beautiful and still kind of scary and like I love it.
Like, I mean, God, imagine being a kid and your mom had died when you were young and you start seeing her ghost in the house and she's like giving you warnings of shit, you have no idea what's going on.
I'd have to say this is probably one of my favorite horror movies. I really enjoyed it a lot.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to show you this one because I just, it wasn't even just the aesthetic. It was also just like, I'm like, I know they're going to love the costumes. Yeah. I know they're going to love the way things look.
Yeah.
And I honestly forgot some of the story elements from when I first watched it and like how it kind of goes.
That's great.
But I was like, we have to watch this because I know for sure they're going to love the aesthetics of this fucking movie.
Yeah. I loved pretty much every element of it. So, congratulations.
But yes, that was Crimson Peak. Please like, subscribe, comment on our YouTube, Spotify. We're on YouTube and Spotify. And follow us on Instagram, Horror Legend Pod. I mean, that's how it is most places. And even on Blue Sky is Horror Legend Pod. We mostly just post episodes that are come up on there. But Instagram has I post a lot of movie trivia and horror things, and probably gonna interact more with the story and see who's seen the movie before we watch it, who hasn't, and things like that. So definitely give us a follow. we love doing this. We do it for fun. It's not like we're paid to do this.
Yeah.
I just really love horror movies, and I've always been a horror movie lover since I was younger and saw The Shining for the first time. So that was always kind of been that way.
And I'm only appreciating them now.
And I will always love corrupting somebody and bringing them into the horror family.
Well, until next time, farewell.
Farewell. Goodbye.
Get out. Bye.
Get the fuck out.